Alex Bean with K-Side Press, and I'm here with Hannah Guy, who defeated Valerie Loureda at Bellator 259 last Friday. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So you're 6 days removed from your fight. How are you feeling? Any injuries?
No, not at all. I did throw tried to throw a calf kick in the fight, and we landed shin to shin. Thankfully, didn't feel it in the fight. I never do really, but it's like finally healing up. But it was hurting pretty bad. Um, and you can probably rewatch and see when that happened. But my coach immediately was like, "Stop throwing kicks! You're not setting it up." Because I'm not a kicker, but for some reason I want to throw kicks sometimes. So, anyways, but other than that, I was fine. I had like a little, kind of like a bump or something here, but other than that, I'm all good. My face has definitely looked terrible after fights, and it's good to not have that this time.
That's always good to hear. I do have so many questions for you. But how did you celebrate?
Well, we were in the casino, so we just went to like a pizza place that looked pretty good. We were eyeing all week, or I was eyeing all week. We were able to eat all week. I had to eat Wake Up food, but it was all worth it. And we ordered two giant pizzas, and then we went to this other place and got these like homemade shakes that were so good. And then we went to bed. So we flew out the next morning. We had to be up at like 5 in the morning to catch our flight. So we weren't trying to party too hard. I was still up until like 3 just because I couldn't sleep, all the excitement and everything. But um, went to the river like Sunday. So I guess that's another celebration. But yeah.
The pizza, shakes, and a trip to the river. I mean, sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, especially with this heat. I came back to Mississippi and it turned into summer already. It's like summer's here for sure.
Um, have you gotten your van fixed? I saw that it was broken. And are you still part of the van life?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
There is like some little things that are still kind of jacked up. And I think I'm hoping it's as easy as just changing out a fuse. But it's running again. It's doing good. So
So so I saw on one of your Instagram posts that you had some trouble with Hurricane Zeta. What's that story? What happened?
I went to go. I don't know if you know Alan Belcher. He was
Yeah.
like a UFC vet. Yeah. Um, anyways, he helps us with a lot of our business stuff. He helps us with. He's actually the black belt over my coach, and so anyways, we're pretty good friends with him. So I went down to the coast and I was going to spend the weekend. He was like asking me to go to the Halloween party that they had, and I was cool with his like fiance at the time. So went down there, and about halfway down, they told me there was a hurricane, but it was fine. And I was like, okay. And really, I should have just turned around, but I just kept going. I got there safe. It was rough. The winds were pretty bad. Rain was pretty bad. I got down there, and like a couple turns before I was getting to their house, I took a wrong turn on a really dark street that apparently floods really bad. So I ran into that, and it didn't stall out or anything, which is apparently a good thing as far as the mechanical side goes. I don't know a lot about cars, but the engine was still running and everything. So I like reversed out when I realized it wasn't getting better. And then I took another turn that I didn't see a power line that was like coming a little too close to the height of my van, and it tore off one of my solar panels and part of my AC unit. Which that isn't even as bad. Like I can buy one of those easy, but it was the water that was like the rough part. So it was actually still cranking up and everything, but some kind of electrical issue with the gear shift or something like that. I would go into drive and it would stay in park or just go reverse. So, and my mechanic took 6 months to fix that. And I think it was because he knew I was 4 hours away and I couldn't really do anything about it. But I finally got it back like right before the fight, so that was a really sweet, like, cool thing that was able to happen right before my fight. So, living in it again, so it's all good.
That's awesome to hear. So you were basically couch surfing for 6 months?
Yeah, couch surfing, vehicle surfing, like bike for a while. I was just walking everywhere, and thankfully I live in a small town, so max it would take like 30 minutes to get somewhere walking. But you know, and then I bought a bike, which helped, and then like a friend of actually my boss allowed me to use his extra truck he had for a while, so that's been really helpful. So, and then I would just stay at people's houses until they were tired of me, and then I went to the next house and the next house. So, but I'm glad. I'm really not the type of person that likes being super dependent on other people. So that was really tough for me. But I'm just thankful I had people that were like there for me, you know, during that time. So, but now I can be independent again and, you know, live in my van like I planned to do. So,
Um, so and then also I heard during your fight, there was the commentator was saying that you threw away your college education to fight. Is that correct?
kind of. It wasn't just a fight, honestly. Like, I've never known if fighting is like the only thing I want to do. Like, it's more of like just something fun, honestly. Um, but really, I quit going to college because I was wasting money. It had been about 4 years. I still didn't know what I wanted to do with it. And the only thing I thought might be good, and I was paying for it all on my own, you know, like most people do probably, but I made some mistakes by going to some expensive schools. I was really getting that debt up. So I figured, like, okay, well, I can stop now. If I want to go back later, that's fine. But what I'm doing at the gym right now, I'm loving. I was teaching kids, I still am. Um, Teaching kids jujitsu, teaching kickboxing to adults, help them lose weight, that kind of thing. So, and that's awesome. And, you know, it's not like doctor money, but it's, you know, it helps me make a living and I don't need a lot. So, you know, I can always go back to college later if I change my mind. And that's kind of how I viewed it. So,
Gotcha. Makes sense. It makes sense. So before your fight with Valerie, there wasn't a lot of promotion about you. Did that kind of bum you out?
I mean, I understood because she's been in Bellator since her debut, you know, as a pro. Um, and she makes them a lot of money, I'm sure. So I wasn't really that mad. It did kind of get on my nerves, like because I don't follow any of my opponents on social media until after the fight, and so a friend of mine was scrolling and saw a picture of like just her on the fight poster, and it said Loureda and Guy, and it was just her, but they didn't send me a picture with just me. And that sounds super silly, but it kind of got under my skin a little bit. But other than that, like I understand it's a business, whatever. But I am a little irritated. Nothing's been posted about me on their page. I am irritated about that and the rankings, but it is what it is.
Oh,
So,
we'll get to the rankings. We'll get to the rankings. Don't you worry about that. So the fight itself. Well, what do you think of your performance and what was the game plan going into it?
So the game plan was pretty much the same, honestly. Um, we try to never have any fear as far as, you know, it's no secret that my jiu-jitsu is way better than my stand-up. Um, and so the game plan is to kind of hit them hard, take them down, set it up with punches, you know, if at all possible, take them down, ground smash, and then like submit them. That's kind of always the goal. But for her, it seemed like grapplers she would fight against in the past had an issue like getting to her because she runs so much. So that was the main game plan, is trying to get to her hips and cut off her angles. So we were practicing like step throughs. Um, when it looked like I was just like charging towards her, it was actually me trying to do a step through under pressure. So that meant my head wasn't moving like it was supposed to. My hands down like they weren't supposed to do. But I got to her hips and was able to take her down. So that was kind of the game plan. I just didn't implement it, perfectly. Um, I wasn't able to let my hands go like I wanted. But at the end of the day, I've only been doing this 5 years. Um, I'm new to the sport, and so people can talk trash all they want about my stand up, but me and Loretta both are new to the sport, and you know, it is what it is. I'm still growing, so whatever. So that was kind of the game plan, just cutting off her angles, closing the distance, and then take her to the ground where I want it.
Gotcha. And your performance overall, did you like it? It all good?
Yeah, I thought it was better. I thought I did better on the stand up until I watched it, and then I was like, whew, that was not good. So I was a little disappointed in myself on that, but I keep telling myself now, it was really bumming me out actually when I first watched the tape, because I was like, I thought I did way better. Um, but now, I keep telling myself, I'm new, whatever, it's fine. It's a work in progress. And then when they put me on the rankings, I was just like, well, I'm definitely not, like, I shouldn't be on that list. And was somebody I just beat above me. That was kind of weird. But anyways, it is what it is.
That's next. Hold on. So she dropped you in round one. That was a significant thing, and then in your armbar of her. So I guess how hurt were you when she dropped you, and then when you had her in that submission? Did you feel? Because I guess her ligaments are torn. Did you feel that at all, or hear that, or anything?
Yeah, I felt like there was some crunching, or I could kind of feel that it was definitely tight enough to be hurting. Um, I just was having trouble with like breaking. Um, and we've practiced some stuff, but it's just been a while as far as that goes. In competition, it's just a lot tougher, finishing. But I will be working on that. Um, but yeah, I did think I at least hurt her, but I wasn't expecting her to be in a cast, so that's cool. I mean, not that like I'm happy she's like hurting, but like it makes me feel better about like my arm bars, because I was kind of down that she didn't have, but she's tough, so.
Right. And the punch in the first round, were you hurt?
No, I get most of the time in a fight I get flash knocked out, at least a few times around. Um, but I've never been knocked on my butt, and I think it was just because of how I was closing distance. I was kind of running into punches a lot, and I definitely ran into that one. And so I don't know if that was the reason it knocked me down. But once my butt hit the ground, I was fine. I was very aware of what was going on. Um, I think she thought I was really hurt, and I saw her charge at me, and then I like tried to make it apparent. I mean, I did want her to like come into my guard, because then it was where I wanted the fight to be, but then she realized and got back up. So
Gotcha.
yeah, it was fun.
So those rankings, they came out, and you're somehow ranked behind Valerie. Um, I mean, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, don't I'll let you know that most of the MMA community and media members are like, "What the hell is going on?"
Just a little weird. I mean, I do understand that it's like a business, whatever, but that makes y'all look kind of shady, honestly. Like it makes y'all look like pretty bad. So I don't who came up with that list, whatever, but I don't feel like it was like a good move. Like they were better off like maybe dropping her down one ranking and then not putting me on a list at all, really. But maybe they saw people liked me or whatever. I don't know. Like honestly, I would have felt better about it too if I had never gotten ranked and she could have stayed where she was, I guess, or gone down one and me just not be on the list. But what?
Yeah, it's very odd. I don't know what I don't know. It's odd. So finally, what's the plan for the rest of the year? How many fights you want? Do you have any names? What's the plan for you?
No, I just want to continue, getting cage experience, getting that cage time in. Um, Maybe even take like a kickboxing or boxing just so I can get more comfortable on my feet. But yeah, I definitely want to. I'm like really motivated to compete a lot this year, so um, maybe some like combat jiu-jitsu too. Never know. But I do want the focus like this year. I really want to like improve, like because my striking in practice and when I'm sparring is very different than in the cage, and I think it's just that pressure and like under that stress. Um, so I really want to get to a place where when I'm competing, I'm able to duplicate exactly how I am in training. So that's kind of like a goal this year for sure.
Gotcha. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with me. And if you want to plug your social media, plug your sponsors, go right ahead.
Yeah, so Hannah Guy, MMA, I'm pretty much everything. Facebook, you can probably tell which one me. It's just a person. But and then sponsors, I have millions.co. They just came out with a really cool design as far as like Hannah the Hurricane stuff. So anyone listening to this, if you want to buy uh, shirts, hoodies, whatever, they have that all on their website. I get a percentage of that. So they not only gave me a check for my fight, but they'll continue sponsoring me by helping me sell, gear and stuff like that. And then I have local sponsors: Incognito Investigations, Supersonic Car Wash, um, running on eGraphics. I have Your Fresh Tech, where you can buy pretty good priced, brand new like electronics, stuff like that. Um, the Dice Team. I think that's it. That was a lot for this fight, thankfully.